Welcome to Spiritual and Sassy, the podcast where we bleed deep soul wisdom with authentic confidence.
We're your host,
Tressa
and Myra, and together we'll explore the mystical side of life, challenge societal norms and programming, and embrace our inner power.
Whether you're on a spiritual journey or just love a little sass, this space is for you.
Let's dive in and light up the world with a little more love.
Here we
Hello.
are. Hello.
We're back and still fucked up. I'm just kidding.
More fucked up than we were last week for listeners out there. Man, I wonder if I kept this. I hope I did. I'm going to see if I kept this. So last week I was off work. The week before, we had this conversation about swear words. And I just asked a couple people at work, like, who decided that fuck and shit and damn? Like, who decided that shit was swear words?
Yeah.
I just don't buy it, you know? And we kind of talked about it there. And I'm like, I mean, sometimes fuck is the only word you can say. But, I'll find it. I found this post the other day that talked about it. No.
Well, and we had a mutual acquaintance also share something similar on Facebook. So I don't know if you talked to her.
That's her.
But he mentioned it too. And it was like basically talking about us giving power to words when they have, like, we decided that, like, they're not really, like, but it's more beautifully written than me right now.
I know. That's
but it was cool.
It's our mutual friend. And I saw that. And so I screenshotted that and sent it to one of the gals I was talking to. And she's like, exactly. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to read it. She'll love it if she hears it. She won't mind that I read it. These are not my words. So-called swear words are just sentence enhancers. So bad words are just energy power words. They call them swear words to take your power away, and you fall for it. It's called programming, once again. Mm-hmm. And I agree. And when we had that conversation, I was like, yeah, who decided that these words were bad? Like, they do have a vibration to them. And sometimes it's the best vibration ever.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I do too. I remember though, like, obviously I say swear words. Hello, surprise. And I remember my mom back in, like, when I was younger, especially in my teen years, when I got more comfortable, with, like, okay, you're not going to do anything at this point, or like, let me, and I'm not cussing my mom, but like using the words in sentences, or, I wasn't disrespecting her. And she'd be like, that's just so not ladylike. And then she would tell me stories of women, and the way she correlated it is, she's like, yeah, Granny such and such, she used to swear all the time and do snuff and spit snuff. And I just laughed and laughed, just the way it's, like, correlated, which is even funnier, and an inside joke for Tressa. But I laughed so hard about it, and it's just like the way the things she grouped with this woman,
like,
it was all, I was like, oh my gosh. So I think of that and she does still say it from time to time, she'll be like, now Myra, like, do we need to say that? So
fuck anyways, yeah, we do, Granny.
Yeah, we do. I was like, I'd have hung out with her. We would have hung out and had a ball. Like, how do I call her in on a seance? You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. We got things to chat about.
I think it's just, like, I think it's stupid though when you try to change the word, like, because it just doesn't fit, like fudge or gosh. I'm like, oh my God, you got this. It's just use the word that fits.
Yeah,
it seems so inauthentic to me, but that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I get more cringed out hearing the weird word, like the switches, the switch in,
the fake words,
the fake ones. Yeah, like Blake will sometimes say Jiminy Christmas, and I want to, like, yeet myself into the next month. I can't take it. I hate it. I'm like, ugh. So maybe I'm triggered. I don't know why, but it's not it. It's not it. That one and something else is just I hate it. And those are a few, and, like, and funny. He's not like, it's not that he doesn't cuss, but it's just like words of habit. I'm sure growing up, his family.
Oh yeah, it's programming. It's coming out there from his family.
Yeah. So I'm like, I hate it. I'm like, wow, your sex appeal went down 50 points.
Not
Jiminy
getting anything
Christmas.
today, babe.
Yeah. I'm like, meh. I hate it.
Okay, Mr. Rogers, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, button up your sweater, bro. Like, uh, call someone
Yeah,
else. So that's
that's
it. Yeah,
funny. Yeah.
that's the word. Sends me to a new planet. I hate it.
Anyway, let them fly, people. Whatever you
Yeah,
need to say it.
you do you. I mean, it kind
Work
of
your
goes
throat
in.
chakra.
Yeah, I mean, it goes into honestly our topic for today.
Yeah.
Really, I think, this week Tessa texted me and was asking, like, hey, what are you thinking? I've had a really weird week last week, and it's also Virgo season. I don't know if anyone that listens, if you follow zodiac or if you pay attention to any, stuff with zodiacs. I have a lot of Virgos in my life, and my moon is also Virgo
Mm-hmm.
in my astrological signs, and so I relate to a lot of Virgos in ways, and I can see how this goes. But I bring this up because a lot of the times, like Virgos really struggle with perfectionism, and and the way when I was reading about it this week too, because like I don't know, my algorithm on my social medias and my internet, whatever, has completely figured me out. And so I'm served all this content, especially when, signs and seasons change, or when there's a moon, or when there's
Mm-hmm.
the crow strikes 12 and the stars, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All
I
of
do.
it, when all of it
Yeah.
happens. And one of it was talking about like where we can sometimes take devotion and you think you're being devoted, and the devoted though becomes so obsessive that it starts to get masked like with a mask into perfectionism, and then you start really being hard on yourself. And I believe that to be totally true. And I love Virgos with all my heart. Obviously I circled them and it's in my astrological signs too, and I can see that though, where there's a lot of, they have to be so perfect, and their expectations are very high, things that we, they it's just, and this isn't any, this is just like one of those things. And I thought about it, remove the astrological sign from the conversation, that we do that too as just normal people, as people, we do the same thing. And I was thinking about like expectations, being perfect. Where did these even come from? A lot of it, programming, or where and why are we even placing these expectations on ourselves to reach a level of perfect? Like, what even is perfect?
Yeah, I don't think there is anything that I no, I take that back. I do think there is perfectionism within
Mhm,
each of us. I think it's a unique energy that's
mhm,
perfect for that individual. And that is at many levels. I think one of the things that happens is greed, right?
mhm.
Greed rules all
Yeah.
right now, right? The way that the structure was set up was based upon greed and money. And
Mhm,
that structure is now shifting. I truly
mhm,
do believe that. But when we just talk about physical, look at, we have been programmed through media, and now it's social media. Back in my day, it was magazines, of what is a human form,
mhm,
what brings beauty to a human form. We've been
mhm.
programmed, right? We idolize stars, and they have to have this specific body type and this style and look a certain way. And,
Mhm.
I mean, people pay, think about plastic surgery, for God's
Oh,
sakes.
yeah.
What do people pay to manipulate their physical body through
Mhm,
facelifts and Botox and breast enhancements and
mhm.
whatever else that can be done? Fuck, I don't know what all is out there. But it's
There's
all
even
based
more.
upon, yeah, it's all based upon
Yeah.
what we've all bought into as a collective of, this is how the human form should look.
Yeah.
This is what's associated to beauty. And then it
Mhm,
gets deeper than that, because if you go beyond that, beauty then does what? It brings you power. It brings
mhm.
you money. It brings you lovers. It brings you friends. It brings you all of these other things, right?
Yep.
And that's the depths of the cycle that we can let ourselves buy into, you know?
Mhm.
And it's something that for me personally, I still struggle with it today. I'd love to tell you I don't, because I'm inundated with the same content all the time, and
Yeah.
I've really tried to clean up a lot of my social platforms to not have those kind of things being fed to me, but oh, they get back in
Mhm.
that algorithm somehow.
Yeah.
um, and And it's fine. Everybody should do what they feel they need to do. But a decision that I had made was that, I will never put something foreign in my body just for me.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to do it. I'm going to allow my body to look the way it needs to look. And I believe that the energy that you have internally, your chakra system,
Hmm.
right, which holds your energy body, is a representation of your physical body. It
Hmm.
when you allow it to be natural, right?
Yeah.
You can manipulate that through many ways.
Hmm.
But I think that's where perfectionism comes from, or what we view as what does perfection look like or feel like, or
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I agree. I also think too, like even with enhancements, whether it be the filler, Botox, injectables, God, they're doing stem cell shit these days, whether it
Yeah.
be augmentation, whether it be lifts, whether it be whatever it is, it's never enough though. Like and I've seen it
Yeah.
too, and I've seen it in myself. Like, it's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, eventually you're like, yay, and then it's never enough because the self love or it was never actually there or changed or fixed. You're right. It's the intention behind it. It's the energy around what you're doing and why you're doing it. And so you never really reach. I've seen it. There's more. More filler, more this, more that. Change this, or this isn't that good anymore. I want to do it again, or try it again, or what does this look like? And I've even seen more recently a lot of people getting things dissolved where they just, we've talked about it before, but like honestly, they get like rose colored glasses. And there's a funny term for it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head right now,
Mm-hmm.
where people just, especially lip filler, people would just plump, 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 and then they don't see it. And then eventually they see how much, whoa, maybe that was just too much. Like, what was I doing with that? And now they're starting to get it dissolved because they had a lot of fog around it. They thought they needed more,
Mm-hmm.
more, more. And then now they're seeing it. But what's really interesting too is you were talking about social media and content. I have followed influencers for years. And originally, a lot of the influencers were like me and just sharing clothing and different sales and like, at the time, like maybe water bottles or maybe gadgets or gizmos or whatever, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is. Or they would share their lives. And especially during my pregnancies, or especially my first pregnancy, it really helped me because at that time I didn't have any friends around me that were also pregnant with Magnolia. And so it felt like I had a friend, I had information and things I didn't know about or things I wouldn't have thought about or whatever. And the other week, it's been actually a couple weeks ago, I made a conscious decision to unfollow all influencers off my social media.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost kind of like breaking up with people for me, I guess, because
Yeah.
I mean,
I
like
get it. Yeah.
they're not really my friend. I
It's
was
not
only
like you know these
patting
people
their,
personally, but yeah.
no, I was just patting their pockets. So at this point, like I've realized there's a few things happening. One, I was also still staying in comparison, whether or not I believed I was comparing myself to them. They're starting to do things that are just really outrageous now. Okay. They buy new houses every 3 days. I'm not even, I mean, like, I am being like a smidge exaggerative, but I'm kind of
Yeah.
not. And they're not like a normal person's house. They're mansions, guys, like big estates. They're buying estates, okay? Like estates and farms and shit and all sorts of really amazing things. And I'm so happy for them. That's so cool. And they make their money from brand deals and people like me and you, and so they're no longer relatable. Like, I don't know anyone in my personal sphere that goes out and buys a brand new estate and then a new one in 6 months. Like,
Yeah.
and then they're keeping the other one too, like it's just these people I used to feel a connection or relate, or they're taking 7 months off and going to Europe. Like, that's cool. And I would love to do that too, but I work a 9 to 5. They don't. And I'm like, and I do believe in manifesting. I do believe in living, but me living in comparison is never going to, that's not the right energy to be in either. And so it's like looking at my own life and then what the hell am I doing or why am I doing this? And so I just made a conscious decision like, hey, I don't even align with these people anymore. I don't even align with their content. I don't align with their beliefs. I don't even care what their freaking families are doing at this point. Like I used to enjoy it. I needed it at some point when especially during my pregnancies, I felt very isolated both times. Well, maybe not with the second one, but especially with my first pregnancy, my body was changing. I just looked so different. I didn't understand. There was a lot of psychological things going on. And I just felt so isolated. And so I was really comfortable and related to these people on the internet that I never knew. And, that was a time, 6 years ago. And here I am now, and I'm a different person. Like, I just don't align with this anymore. And really, it's made things feel better. Like, I'm not buying random shit. I have been more intentional spending. I'm not seeing stuff served to me constantly that I never needed. I didn't need it. I don't really desire to have it. Um, and I'm not watching these people's lives unfold that have absolutely nothing to do with me. Like, I don't live in that state of comparison anymore either.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so true. We compare ourselves all the time, or we can if we're not conscious.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, like, it's not necessarily bad to have a desire if that's what they desire is, a state and all this acre, whatever they're buying.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting in your space and you feel an energy of lack because of that,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what most people would feel, I'm
Yeah.
lacking this, then you continue to bring that energy of lack about, right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem that people don't realize that comparison can start to do to you. I lack
Mm-hmm.
this. So that's the energy pattern. And what do you continue to bring in? More lack. Because you
Yeah.
don't feel abundant in the space that you already have, in what you
Yeah.
already have. When you start to feel abundant and joyful about what you currently have in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
then more abundance comes to you, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I thought about when you were talking was, overconsumption can be a sign of, or like what you were talking about with people putting in like a ton of filler and then having to take it out or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
People are trying to make themselves feel something from the
Mm-hmm.
outside in. From the outside in, with the appearance, with the external thing, and that will never work. It will absolutely never work. That's why then the next thing has to fill them up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It always has to come from the inside out. If you were looking in the mirror and you were frowning, you don't
Mm-hmm.
go to the mirror and put a smile on the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
outside thing isn't going to change until
Yeah.
the inside thing changes,
Yeah.
right? That's what I'm saying. That never works. And
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Myra this was such a good topic because I was off this week and I started off my week and I tried on some pants that didn't fit. They fit last year, they did not fit this year. So I was a little going down this rabbit hole of body image stuff, right? Well, I didn't do too bad. I wasn't beating myself up because I've come a long way with that.
Mm-hmm.
But something triggered me Thursday from an outside source. And man, I was in the woods and I got this trigger that pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
Had nothing to do, by the way, with my body or with any of that. But I get into the trees and I'm sitting there and I just let myself go into the biggest pity party that I've gone into for a while. I mean, I had a band, I had catering done. I mean, it was a party of pity for Tressa. It was full on. Like, if I'm going to do it, like, let's just do it right.
Here we go. Yeah.
Here we go. Come on, friends, and join me. Let's just feel sorry for me because I'm feeling sorry for myself big time in this moment. And it was really interesting. I sat there for probably 30 minutes just berating myself in this pity party.
Mm-hmm.
And then my body, when I get like that, my reset is two things. Well, really one thing. Sometimes I can shower, water, cleanse myself, but normally it's a nap. So I laid down, took a little nap, about 30-minute nap, got up, popped up, still laying in the woods, by the way. And I thought, okay, like that was enough. We're not going to go back into the pity party. Thanks for joining. Mm-hmm. And I asked my dog, Marley, who'd passed away, and she's just a massive energy. Her spirit is huge. I'm like, okay, Marley, I need your help. And she immediately comes when I ask. And one thing about Marley's energy is she's not a coddler. She's not mean, but she doesn't coddle shit.
Yeah.
And her energy showed right up and she's like, well, speak your truth. It's your fault. You're not voicing. You're keeping stuff in. That's on you.
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, she's right.
Yeah.
She's right. She's 100% right. And it was really interesting because I truly believe that my external body is a reflection of my internal energy. What we view as the weight on our body it's always a protection of something. Right? And I've
Yeah.
known this forever. And this has
Mhm.
been a gift in my life since I was a little girl. You know, I shared that
Mhm.
on another podcast after my molestation and how my body took on extra weight for
Mhm.
protection. And I've been trying to figure out, what am I protecting myself from in this
Mhm.
moment? My voice. It's
Mhm.
my voice.
Mhm.
And I made a decision in that moment. I'm like, well, we're going to speak our truth. And
Mhm.
I am going to speak in uncomfortable ways, and people will feel uncomfortable. And I am now at the point where it's like, if their uncomfortability they don't want to be around me, that's really going to be okay. Because I was holding
Mhm.
parts of myself back with
Yeah.
key people in my life.
Yeah.
Because, it was too woo woo, or it was too this, or one
Mhm.
of the things I used to be told as a kid, like I was a little too much, and sometimes
Mhm.
I'd pull back. And she was right. That's the energy I was putting out. I was
Mhm.
holding myself back. And my body did a beautiful thing. It just is protecting me from that energy. And until I
Mhm.
switch it from the inside, the outside will never shift.
Yeah.
That has no chance to. And believe
Mhm.
me, you and I have talked about this on this podcast and just between you and I before.
Mhm.
I've been trying to manipulate the system. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do these negotiations.
Yeah.
You don't negotiate. It doesn't work that
Yeah.
way. It has to balance out in the right ways. And I needed
Mhm.
that. I needed that pity party. I needed that time. I needed to go down that space. Now I didn't stay there long, right? You don't want to stay there. And I needed
Mhm.
to hear that. I needed to see it. But without those damn pants not fitting, I wouldn't have gone there. It was the
Yeah.
trigger. So I was grateful for that. And I'm grateful for currently the way my body looks. That brought me that clarity.
Mhm.
And it was funny because Troy has a picture of me on his phone, and it's probably 15 years old. And I saw it that day.
Mhm.
And by all accounts, in this world, my body at that point was a solid 10. I'm
I've heard
just
about
a
this
10.
photo.
You know,
I
this
don't even need
photo
to.
yeah, but you know what I realized? I looked into the eyes of that girl. That girl had no purpose, no soul. She didn't know who she
Mhm.
was. I berated that body. I
Mhm.
hated her.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
It makes me so damn happy. Like
Mhm.
tears of joy are coming out because I saw that picture in that moment, and I'm like, I can honestly look at myself now with the physical form I have and know that I love myself in a whole different way,
Mhm.
regardless of the number that you put on the body. We talked about that before too.
Yeah.
Um, and I just feel like it's really finally coming full circle of what's been happening. Because
Mhm.
we've talked about this a little bit before too. I've gone through menopause, and I got told and kind of took on a contract of, well, you've got a lot of cortisol and your hormones are shifting. And all of that is true, but I think the body can naturally shift to what it needs to. For me, I have a strong opinion about taking things like pharmaceuticals, so I try to stay away from those things. But um, I think I've hit a turning point. So it'll be interesting to share over the next, you know, few months to see how things start to change. Because I finally
I
feel
love
like I
that.
got it. Yeah.
No, that's so beautiful, and it's so true. I love that you shared that. And I think that, I hate that you feel that way about yourself. We've talked about it before. Like, why can't we talk to ourselves the way we talk to dogs? Like, look at your belly,
Yeah.
or
I
like, you're
know.
so
You're
cute,
so
and I
cute.
want to do that
I
to you.
love
You're
you
so
so much.
beautiful. I love you so much, like, and, I'm with you. And you bring up looking at the past photo, and I really try not to do that. I have a lot of friends who do that, and I used to do that a lot because my weight, we've talked about it before, has fluctuated. And whether it be on my own accord, pregnancy, after, postpartum, whatever it is,
Mhm.
even just recently, like I went through a massive transition this summer. I gained weight, and I know that part of that is protection. I'm aware of that 100%. I know
Mhm.
that's what my body was doing for me. And same for Blake, and we've both, has had a different realization around it too, and a very similar story. And, he tried on some pants and some things, and he's like, what the, like,
I feel you, Blake. I feel you.
yeah, man, the man, I'm not gonna lie, guys, he got in his feelings about it for a minute, and I let him grieve. He had his it was just like, and then it was sad because then it's like, why did I do this to myself? How did I let myself get like this? Why did I not do this or that or this or this? And I said, you can't change it. You you are the way you are right now for you have to love you for you in this moment. And he said, you're right. And he's like, I know what I can do and what the steps I need to take. And he's done that. And he's lost a lot of weight actually, but it's not even just about the weight. He's changed everything. Like his eating habits are very different. The way he approaches Blake's born to have these Greek god legs. Okay, like I don't know a freaking
He's
person who
just
like
gifted with
does
them.
fucking
Yeah.
nothing, yeah, with these legs. Okay, like hello. And same with his arms. Like his physique is beautiful for to do nothing. He just lives. And he's like, you know what? I'm blessed with this body. I love this body. I should move this body. And so he's moving the
Hmm.
body and he's eating better and better as in like very intentional. He's really thinking about what he's eating and what he's putting into his body. And he asks himself, like, do I really need this or not? And I really support that for him. And it's not a critique. It's not self-hate this time. It's a very different version of this for him. It's not a quick fix either this time. It's not a fad thing. It's truly looking at, okay, what am I inputting and what's coming out? And he's been on a roller coaster emotionally around body, and then we talk about perfectionism, not just the physical form, but the, internal form of, am I a good enough parent? Am I a good enough spouse? Like there's this whole lot of emotions and things going on. And I really do believe that it's a catalyst of a lot of inner work and reflection that he's going through right now. And it's different. It's like you said, you can feel a different shift. It's very different for him as well. And so I'm proud of him for taking those steps. I'm proud of you for taking those steps. And then we've talked about it for the podcast, when you sit in the uncomfortable, this was really fucking uncomfortable. He was really embarrassed. He went to the doctor. He's now like, they want him to do all these scans. They want him to do all this stuff. They're like, buh, and like, they pretty much called him gross. And like, so he's like, what? And so it's like overwhelming. And they're like, we want to put you on all this medication. He's like, what the hell? I can fix it
Hmm.
myself. I just need to really, it's like a whole thing. And so it's like this different turning point of like, whoa, what is going on? And it's been really cool because I've always gone in and out of fitness and take my body, and I've really come to love my body. About almost said come to terms with my body. I'm like, that's not true. I should not. There is no terms with yourself. Like that's
Yeah.
not true. But I've really come to love myself, and in a way of like, I love my eyes, and that's how I have to start. Because for me to the other day, I was looked in the mirror. I was working out, and I pulled my hair down, and I'm like, I love my hair. Like, oh my gosh, I have the most beautiful hair, and it's so thick, and I love this color, and look how shiny it is. And it was just so cool because it started to change the way I started to look. I was looking at myself in the mirror working out. I'm like, wow, I look so beautiful. And for me to do that is very uncomfortable for me because I've not been able to really do that and mean it ever, really,
Hmm.
honestly. I've changed the way that I work out. My intention behind it is based on my body and the way I feel about my body, not trying to achieve a look anymore. I have pants in all sorts of sizes. I don't know. It's just what feels comfortable. I used to try to achieve a number in a pant, or I would try to achieve a
Oh,
size,
man.
or you know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Blake's not thinking about that either. It's just what's comfortable, and and it's just been very different. Talked a couple episodes ago about Magnolia and eczema, and really trying to grasp her thoughts and feelings around her own body. And today we were talking, and I was telling Tressa before the episode, we're talking about, I believe in the power of gratitude 100%. I can stand behind that any day, anytime, any place. That it's the number one thing that if I had, there's a question out there that's like, if you had one truth, my truth would be gratitude. And I believe in it 100%. And so I really always, I start my day in gratitude. What am I grateful for? And today I was talking to Magnolia, and I asked her, like, well, what are you grateful for? Because we ask, sometimes at dinner we'll do highs and lows. That's a terrible term. That's like a corporate term. But like, just to talk about, because I do want her to talk about things that happen in the day that might not have been great or might have been uncomfortable, because we need to talk about those things too. Like, I want to be comfortable in the good and the not so good,
Hmm.
But anyways, today she said, I'm grateful for, she said Jesus gave her life and she said she's grateful for that. And so, okay. And then she said, I'm grateful for my arms and my legs and my body. And that was it. And, I was telling Tressa, for most people, that's like, whatever, cute. Yeah. But like Blake and I are like crying, like, okay, because like that's a lot for her to say,
Yeah.
because she questions often, why was I given this body? Why is this my body? And and someone listening out here, you might think eczema is not that bad. You know what? But for her in this moment, and for the way it impacts her day to day and the way it's influenced in her life, this to her is like, why, and I don't, we really talk through this with her because I never want her to be in a victim mentality or the why me or why do I look like this, or why do I feel
Hmm.
this way or why do I act this way. And so for her to unprompted today say that out loud to me was really powerful. And, I'm not saying she's completely, she'll never say that again about her body or eczema, but it's a confirmation to me that something is shifting or it's starting to look a little different now. It's not so hard on herself and her body and the way she looks.
That's awesome. That's huge for her. And
Yeah.
eczema is two people can have the exact same thing and it's going to impact them completely
Completely
differently
different. Yeah.
because of their energy bodies, right? And so there's not a downplay or an upplay or any play. It just is what it is for that individual, right? I mean, it does impact her. And so I think that's really cool that she could find some appreciation for her body that gives her, sometimes it's very challenging, right? Because she's itchy and uncomfortable and
Well, she
the
doesn't
skin
sleep.
irritations,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, all
but
the
it's a
things.
physical appearance also. Like it's
Yeah.
all over, it's
Yep.
excessive. People ask questions, kids ask questions. But I forgot to say this too. To me, it's also confirmation in the shift in mine and Blake's energy because, we talk about it all the time. I can tell her all day long, you're beautiful, you're sweet, you're amazing, your skin's wonderful, blah, blah, blah. That means
Hmm.
nothing unless the energy and what's happening and the way I'm looking at my own self and the way the patterns and the cycles of what I'm trying to pass down generationally is moving through energetically to her. And so like to me that tells me also there's a shift in energy in our home and the way we talk about or think about our bodies too.
Yeah. I think it's becoming more and more, things are shifting, right? Like and I think this is good, just around, I'm just thinking about the physical appearance right now,
Yeah.
but I got a Victoria's Secret ad last week in the mail, and there was a woman on the ad that wasn't a size two. Or,
Yeah.
she had a normal body. Like,
Yeah.
her belly wasn't flat. There was skin there. And I was like, oh my God. And then I love what Pamela Anderson is doing.
Yeah.
She was this bombshell in her
Yeah.
youth, and now she's coming out in her growth at whatever age she is, I don't even know. And she's showing up for herself, and I feel like she brings such a beautiful presence. Like, she knows who
Mhm.
she is now. And
Yeah.
I find her more beautiful today than what she was. But
Yeah.
it's interesting how powerful the programming of what beauty is, because somebody said to me last week, oh my God, have you seen Pamela Anderson lately? And I was about ready to say, yeah, isn't she amazing? And they said to me, she looks horrible. And I was like, the power of the programming got this one.
Yeah.
They're only, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I think she's amazing. I think she's
Yeah. Well, she looks
what
glowy. Like there's a lot about her.
exactly. There's a light about her. There's
Mm.
a presence about her. There's, it's just palpable to me,
Yeah.
this individual is not seeing that
Yeah.
because they're so used to the programming of what that
Programming.
was. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, I didn't even respond because they wouldn't have heard me.
Yeah.
Didn't. Okay. You have
Yeah.
your opinion. Okay.
But it's true. I mean, honestly, what the woman's doing is just living in her authenticity. And
Exactly.
like I think about honestly, I went back because I saw her, she had the Naked Gun movie and then she's rumored dating what's his bucket,
Oh, yeah.
so
Liam Neeson. Yeah.
yeah, so whatever. I
Like
hope
that.
they are. I like it. I don't know.
I
But
do
I'm a
too.
hopeless
I hope
romantic,
so.
I guess. I
Yeah.
always want people
Same.
to I wish you the best.
Yeah.
It's awesome,
Yeah.
But I was like looking at older photos of her, and it was hard for me to see the sex symbol that she was condemned. And I use that term based on labeling, I think she's more
Yeah.
than that. But like that was what she was labeled as in the time. And so I see, but when I compare and I'm looking back at her right now, I was doing this just the other day. I honestly think there's just something more ethereal about her. Like she's just so much happier. She looks beautiful, and like I said, it's just a lot more radiant. And it even goes back to what you said. There's this photo of you where
Hmm.
you're rocking in that term or whatever,
According to society standards.
standards,
Yeah.
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 And you look at it, but you see nothing there. Like that
Mm-mm.
person isn't, maybe the body is a standard somewhere, but the person, and behind those eyes, what that person was feeling and who you are now today is so much more. And it's, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I feel about looking at Pamela Anderson. I don't even know her, but like looking at these two different people and moving around, it's like, wow.
Yeah, I think it's regardless of, it's interesting you say I don't even know her. We do know it because we feel the energy of it.
Yeah.
We know the energy. And I feel like what I was saying about me and what I'm saying
Hmm.
about her are both comparable in the way that I would imagine, in her sex symbol days or whatever the hell you want to call them, she probably had no idea of who she really was, who she wanted to
Hmm.
be. And that's how I felt about that picture of me. That
Yeah.
I was following a script that society had given me. I
Hmm.
didn't know what the essence of Tressa was yet. And
Hmm.
now I know, and I'm still learning it, and it's still evolving. It's not I'm at the end. I'm in
Yeah.
the journey, but I
Yeah.
know the journey is happening. I'm paying attention to the journey. I'm loving the journey. I'm finding
Hmm.
gratitude in the contrast of the journey. I'm not getting angry about it. I'm not, that pity party that I had didn't go on for a week, 3 days, 5 days like it probably would have back then.
Yeah.
Those are those are things that I'm really grateful for. I was grateful that I could say, I let myself feel that and kind of go into that depth, but it was such short lived. And I did appreciate what it gifted me with the contrast of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad about it. I didn't berate it. I didn't judge myself for doing it. I just was like, thank you. I needed that moment to allow me to ask the right assistant, which in that moment was Marley. We have
Hmm.
tons of people, guides,
Hmm.
councils, archangels, ancestors. For me, I knew it was her, and she gifted me with, and I listened, with the right information in the right time. So,
Hmm.
yeah, all of those things play together. It's not one thing without the other. But I think that's what we feel, or that's what I feel when I look at her, as I feel this
Hmm.
beautiful energy. And you named it correctly, authenticity. People are
Hmm.
attracted to authentic people. They devour that, and
Hmm.
it's like when I think about, we started saying, what is perfectionism? Well,
Hmm.
perfectionism is really standing in your own space,
Hmm.
standing in your own authenticity, whatever that is, because it's unique for all of us. Knowing what it is and standing there with full conviction. I
Yeah.
think that's perfection.
I agree. One of the things I wrote down too before we started, when I was just thinking, is, perfectionism blocks authenticity. It's that mask, it's
Mm,
your polished version. It is just this massive block when you are trying to be so perfect and you're not yourself, you're performative. It's an act. And ultimately, to be honest, I think that all it does is breed shame. Like you're fueling the fire of shame, and then you get in these shame cycles or guilt or pity party or whatever it is. And you're right. And I agree with you 100%. It's important to feel those emotions and to feel it because you need to feel it to heal it or whatever, or like feel it to
yeah.
move. You have to, it's part of it. It's part of the uncomfortable. But when I was thinking about it, it was just like all the times that I've lived in comparison or all the times that I've tried to be a polished version, we've talked a lot about physical appearance and I think about like what is the perfect parent, the perfect wife, the perfect sister, friend, whatever it is, or the perfect view. What should I be doing? What should Myra be doing in her 30s? Whatever that perfect idea is, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like some form of bullshit, right? That anytime that I tried so hard, and first off, again, I shouldn't have to try hard. It shouldn't be hard. But in those times, there were parts of those things that were performative or felt performative. And all it ever did was equal shame at some point because I was setting myself up with all these expectations that were just unrealistic and were not authentic to me.
Oh, I think you're spot on. I love that you brought up that shame because when we started to talk about this podcast and the conversation we wanted to have around the word perfectionism, I until yesterday I meditate every day and I try to tune into my guides every day. And one of the things that was definitely part my guides told me needed to be said today was around that the pants didn't fit anymore. Like, because if that stays in the closet, then I stay in shame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we talked,
Yep.
and like that had to be heard. And I was like, that's not going to be, that's going to be uncomfortable. They're like, yep, and you're going to do it and it'll be fine. And it was much more comfortable than I even thought because somebody out there needs to hear it and I need to share it. And that, like, when we start to allow the vulnerability and come out of shame, and the authenticity breeds more and more and more. And you're so right. When I think about this sometimes with words, sometimes when I'm trying to, if I'm in a professional setting and I think that I have to use certain words or speak in a certain way, I get so fucked up because it's not, maybe that's not who I am. And I feel like I have a good way to articulate with words. It's just Tressa's way. But yet sometimes I put myself below certain people, like I don't speak well enough in certain settings. And I've found that the more I can lean into the authentic version of me, people hear me in a different way. If I try to go into that persona, I'm never heard or received in the same way. Well, because again, it's energy, it's vibration, and it's not true to who I am.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, you're just
really
performing.
Tried to work on that. Exactly.
You're
a shell of it.
A version of who knows.
Yeah. Another thing you said I think is so true is when things are right, when things are meant to be for you, they flow with ease. It's not hard. You're not pushing it. You're not trying to make something happen. Things just flow and they come into you and it's like easy. And things align with ease when you're in the right space and you're doing the right thing for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And something that just came up in my mind too is I think about like being like when you're talking about work, it made me think about it. Like a lot of the stuff that I do, and I've said it before, I've said it out loud, where it's like, oh, I'm just a perfectionist, or it's the perfectionist in me, or I'm trying to perfect it. And I found when I have really just said what I needed to say, because a lot of what I do is writing, it's words or it's visuals. When I've said what I needed to say and all that I could do, and I've needed to be like, hey, I've done this the best that I can do, Jimmy, John, Joe, whoever, I'm going to pass it to you now because I'm at a place where if I sit and pour myself over this, it's just not going to be great anyways. And I'll end up hating it because it'll never be perfect, right? But at some point, I've found when I've been able to say, hey, I'm ready to pass it on to you. The portion of my vision is complete. I trust your eyes now. I'm ready for you. It has been such a beautiful thing that has happened because it was easier when I've tried to just do it all myself and just perfect it. And I sit and stare and I look and I edit and I do all these things. And it's hard and difficult. It's never right. It never goes right. There's always an error or there's something that happens or it doesn't really, and that just came to me too, because like, trust me, I'm better now. I've been really working on it and there's always work to do. But I used to be the queen of negotiation and I used to really be the queen of control and manipulation to get the universe to move in my favor. That is not real. It does not fucking work. It is horrible. And I learned lessons in very fucking painful ways, guys. So it's been a journey in life. But it's true, and it's something I've been more aware of, and it's something that I've really stopped doing. Now, like I said, it's a journey. I'm not perfect, but anyways, I was thinking about it in context of work too, like something as plain as day as an assignment or something we're working on, or, I think about if you make, I don't know, that just came to me, like just the perfecting of something that we're doing and just really trying to hold on to it and trying to control or manipulate it too. It doesn't have to be just your relationships with people, or it doesn't have to be like something big, like, moving or buying a home, or losing weight. You know what I mean? It could be something as simple as just like something you're producing from yourself. And it just made me think of that.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good. I think one of the things you're saying is it's kind of a form of surrendering. Like
Yeah.
if you made a really simple point of if you're writing something and you feel like you've done the best that you could, it's not quite there, and you
Hmm.
surrender to the fact that I'm going to let Jane do her magic on it or whoever,
Yeah.
right? And it's so often we put so much pressure on ourselves like,
Hmm.
well, what will Jane think if Myra can't finish it and it be perfect?
Hmm.
That instead of like, hey, I know I'm at a space where I've given it what I can.
Hmm.
Let's see what you can do. And
Yep.
so we were meant to help each other and be with each other
Hmm.
and allow the flow of energy of giving and receiving in
Hmm.
balance, right? I mean,
Hmm.
you know, saying it takes a village, it takes a village. It
Yeah.
takes a village for us to grow and be, and we're meant to be interactive with each other. But
Hmm.
so often we put that pressure on ourselves that I can't ask for help or I can't say,
Hmm.
hey, I'm at this space. Can you help me? That is suppression. That is shame. That is a form of control. And it's ego.
Yep.
And your pride can do that to you, right? Too
Yep.
much pride is not good,
Yep.
and you have to find some humility in
Hmm.
in that space and balance. And I think that that's a great point. I would call it
Yeah.
surrender. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that is.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, this has been great. God, we already gone our 50 some minutes.
Yeah.
So
Look at us
look at us.
motoring. We're
Yeah.
motoring. Motoring.
So, final thought, just, really find perfection in you, your
Mhm.
uniqueness, and then find how to express that uniqueness with conviction. That's what I'm working on. So, that's what I'd encourage the listener land to do for themselves.
Yes. I love it.
All right. Well, until next time, keep your vibrations way high.
And stay sassy.